Good afternoon. My name is Mary Evans. The purpose of my presentation is to inform parents of the foremost epidemic in America's youth, childhood obesity. The awareness of childhood obesity. Why are children getting fatter? Childhood obesity is particularly quickly becoming the foremost epidemic in America's youth. It affects our much as adult obesity, but just as concerning. My presentation will include the cause and prevention of childhood obesity. Childhood obesity is a serious medical condition that affects children and adolescents. It occurs when a child is above its normal weight for his or her height. One of the most strategies to preventing childhood obesity is to improve the diet and exercise habits in your entire family. Treating and preventing childhood obesity helps protect your children's health now and in the future. Genetic disorders and hormonal disorders also can make it possible for your child to likely be more obese. Childhood obesity is particularly troubling because the extra pounds often start children on a path to health problems that were once confined to adults, such as diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. Despite America being one of the most industrialized nations, the country is definitely not one of the healthiest. America is the home of the most obese children in the world. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, obesity in children has tripled in the past 30 years. How do we prevent childhood obesity? I'm glad you asked. It's 4 ways that I came up with that we can prevent childhood obesity as parents. Number 1, schedule your child for a well-child visit. Number 2, schedule your child yearly for a well checkup. Number 3, avoid power struggles with your child with food. Offer your child something much healthier, such as yogurt, fruits, vegetables. These are some of the foods that are still sweet but much healthier. Controlling our food size portions, we as parents will be definitely benefiting our children by helping create better choices when it comes to food. For me, it was a personal experience growing up. I was overweight. Might not look like it now because I'm small, but I was overweight. And me myself, I was being called pleasantly plump growing up, as I remember. And I would tell people when they would make gestures to me about being overweight, I would say, I'm not overweight, I'm big boned, just like my grandparents. And that wasn't really fat, period. And as I grew up and I became a parent myself and a mother of 2 children, I decided to do something with my children, as we do as going on different outings and things of that such. I decided to take my children to see a nutritionist, just to see if I was on the right track of trying to keep my children healthy. And when I got to the doctor, we go in and you get your weight and things of that such. My doctor was looking at my children, and she kind of kept looking at my daughter. And at that time, my daughter was a little thick. She was weighing like 60 pounds, and she was like 10, 11 years old. And I didn't think that was anything big. I didn't think 60 pounds was a big weight, but to her, she kind of pulled me to the side and she was like, well, I'm noticing your daughter, she's getting a little thick. And I was like, that was a wake-up call for me. So what I did, I went home and I sat down and I made a meal plan. I decided to start watching making small portions for my children. Stop feeding them so many desserts with our meals. Start helping making carrots, making stir fries, things of healthier choices. And by that time, I felt that I was on the right track as a parent and making sure my children stay healthy. And when you're doing these things with substitute sugar drinks with milk, water, fresh squeezed juices. This point is the small changes that made the difference in my life. And I'm sure it will help your family too. When it comes to childhood obesity, the last thing, number 4, is to be patient. Patience, patience, patience. Treatment for obesity, it will only be successful if you make a long-term plan with your child's doctor. Focus on a few areas that's improving with your children. Find games that won't embarrass them. Find activities that's not too hard for them. That way they enjoy it. Many children are dealing with a lot of frustrations who are obese. Whether it's humiliation, hatred, embarrassment, being alone, isolated, etc. It's time to take responsibility as parents. Not so much in the realm of being physically healthy, but mentally as well. So if your child is in a process of becoming obese or even in a healthy weight, good. Let's keep things on track, because as parents, we can make a difference in our children's lives. Thank you, and have a good evening.